the review of German Bundesliga 1 and 2 as promised on Tuesday, 3rd of September, match day 3 in Bundesliga 1, match day 5 in Bundesliga 2. And this time I hope I cleaned up my computer a bit better before starting the video. Okay, we want to have a look at the games, can discuss them quickly. We want to have a look at the bets. I mean, some tension, some excitement about the games themselves, and of course about the bets. We do care, and um, and yeah, some discussion maybe also on the ranking or the yeah, the general evaluation of the teams and of the this whole campaign that had started. So how had the settings been and so on, and what did market think about it? So we had the game on Friday night between Gladbach and Leipzig. Mm. When we also had two bets on that, which was Gladbach and it was under. So this is the under, this is the Gladbach bet. They were both went begging. I mean, they were both lost. So now we can have a look if we still would like them. And there I can say, if you saw the game, or maybe it was more difficult, but Sky it was not. They do not show them Friday night matches anymore, but DAZN and so on. But I saw 30 minutes of it, highlights, which was yeah, enough, I could say. And there we saw Gladbach really starting brightly, and they should have taken the lead, I would consider. And well, they did have their chances. Well, Leipzig did not have a single shot on goal. And after 38 minutes, when Gladbach still didn't have the goal they would have deserved, it was instead Leipzig coming forward once, and they instantly scored the goal, which is, of course, the worst that can happen because you got under, you got the better side, and you got the wrong side of scoring, so it could not be worse. And of course, Leipzig were growing in confidence while uh, Gladbach hung their heads a bit. You can't say that at that professional level. Anyway, still it was an interesting, good game, and Leipzig scored another goal, and you can say this is just class act. Timo Werner up front and so on. And you can also argue, well, if the other side would have taken the lead, things could have gone completely differently. Now, still the under is alive, and it goes into injury time. And the worst thing that could happen, which is not the worst, but as it turns out to be, because Gladbach scored a 1-2, which kills your under. And secondly, well, it just kills half of the under because no, not even doesn't kill it. It just makes a win to an even. But now you can still have some hope to either Gladbach to score another one, and that's what they try. They go forward, and instead they concede a third. So all the bets are gone. This is bad luck, or it's just well, it was not an under, as you see here, plus 0.3, but this can also depend on the very late chances. The 0-2, they could have been, just sealed it, and it's just fine. And you win one and you lose one, which is still not really lucky then. I mean, I'm not complaining, it just happens, these things. But anyway, would you expect to ever get that back, that you have an over and the one side, and win both within injury time? I mean, win an over in injury time when you need two goals. This rarely ever happens. The bet itself was good enough because the effort over expectations, or expectancies, I should say, that's still good enough because it's 0.24. They were worse, and the price was over 2, so it's good enough anyway. But I could tell that by watching the game. So I'm gonna enter a 1 here for a good one. We were counting the quality of the bets as well. That was a good one. It was lost. Freiburg. Okay, we talk about Schalke Hertha, and here Schalke were a bit better than expected, and they also were 0.53 goals better than Hertha. And as I said, zero point 0.5 goals, that's where the uh, deserved win starts. So you could say, well, it was a deserved win, although Hertha scored two own goals, but actually you can say there were good chances, and they just tried to keep the ball out, which would have gone out in otherwise anyway. So yeah, it was not such a great game, I consider, but it was close, and Schalke is still the better and a bit better than expected. So it was rather an under than an over, although there were three goals in the end, but not such a great game. And in Freiburg Köln, on the other hand, that was a very good game of football. And here you can say even Freiburg were a bit better than expected. And I would say I would sign that. I saw enough. I mean, I could also say it just was okay, but I saw enough of that, and I could say, well, it was also at 1-1. Exactly, it went the way that I hoped it would be, and they were somehow on eye level. But if you pick a side, it should have been Freiburg. So this was a good one, I say, and the goal in 90th minute. It was before injury time, but it was exactly 90th minute for Cologne. Was not really deserved at that point because right towards the end it was rather Freiburg even stepping up a bit, going a bit more for the winner. And that goal killed this bet because it would have been even, but it made this half winner instead of losing. So that would have been even, and that would have been lost. That's -1. And instead, this is lost, and this is half a winner. So it was rather half. It was a good goal in some sense. Of course, if Freiburg score, it's almost jackpot. Mm. But anyway, I won't complain about this goal, but it was actually Freiburg at that point a bit closer. So you can say already, well, yeah, they didn't go perfectly well, these two bets. Um, Leverkusen Hoffenheim, we should instantly say I did take Hoffenheim with all the restrictions that I mentioned beforehand, that I said they just didn't play well. I had some doubts about Leverkusen, which were not justified in this game, and maybe, okay, market simply right. That's one thing I have to say. And I thought Leverkusen could maybe not quite confirm that level they played. They did confirm it, and okay, that's fine. I can only admit that. But on the other hand, it's Hoffenheim who did not well, once again, underline they it takes some time maybe until they are competitive enough. It didn't look so good, but you can say here I could always argue in the first half, okay, they did have their chances, and they also tried to get the well hold their lines and so on. But well, if you look at these stats, and it was 90-0 corners in the end, and it was all possession, and it was everything. So I can't argue. I would say it appeared for quite a while that Hoffenheim also could have scored the goals, which maybe some counter chances that didn't come to a scoring opportunity, but it was a good chance still. They wouldn't count here, and so on. So some slight arguments, but you can't argue in the end. It was just one-way traffic, and it was a bad one, but it was a 1-1. So here we did get something back, right? These two were lost. This was a winner, so a bit lucky here. And okay, we talk about Bayern Mainz shortly, and this was 3.49, 0.77 expected. I mean, here you have to say Leverkusen 1.62 goals better than expected. This is just, but the very small point in favor of Hoffenheim is they had the result on that side, so they just hung in and tried to get it across the finishing line. Here it was almost as one-sided, but you could say slight edge to Mainz even, And that was also the way they started. For 30 minutes, it was Bayern really struggling a bit, and Mainz had the lead. I was thinking about a 5-1 there. To be honest, I thought, well, you will find out later that it's yeah. But I can easily say that. Um, After the result is fixed here. But it was just a flashing in my mind. Something. What do you say? What do you call it? I thought 5-1. But it was 6-1. They were close, but not as superior as expected. But no, yeah, some credits to Mainz anyway. But it's too one-sided and yeah, too easy then. They had the lead after 6 minutes, Mainz, but you see that Bayern very patiently build up their play and they think, okay, there's enough time to score, and they take their chances and so on. Also, Paderborn, I mean, I would have wished that Paderborn were as good as also commentary had them. They were not quite, but this is only a thing I find out statistically. It appeared to me while watching it they were good enough. So, I mean, it's not a big difference. It's 0.38 goals. Okay, they didn't have these many chances. Maybe somewhere Wolfsburg took over when Paderborn thought we just hold on, which is the same as in Bayer Leverkusen against Hoffenheim. But they may, yeah, as I said, and this was also part of the prediction, could show it here. Oh, well, no, I don't bother now, and I hope you don't bother. But I was mentioning it that maybe Paderborn learned their lesson and so on, and they tried to defend a bit better, which was the case, but it was not better than expected because it was right on that level. But if you say, well, they defended on the level I expected, then this is an improvement over market's view because they conceded quite some goals. Well, anyway, it was good enough. Here I could say, well, it was plus 1.25, was it? 1.25, and that's 1.31. Price was, what was the price? 1.90. Well, I counted neutral. They had the result on their side. It was close to 1.25, the thing that market predicted. They had the result. They just well held on to that, so it's fine. But I can't count it as a good one, nor as a bad one. It's good enough. And in Union Dortmund, as I said, I mean, I was so impressed in the first game, and I hope you noticed that I mentioned that I said it to everyone, that I said 0-4. They all say they are weak, and it was the opposite of that. That's what I saw, and that's of course the things I hope I can rely on also in the future. That sometimes I see such things, and they turn out to be right. And the 1-1 in Augsburg was maybe meaningless even to market because they simply say, okay, 1-1, they were the away side and Augsburg are no good and so on, so it doesn't count. I would count this one as well as a proof, but this one was really proving. Even if you say here, well, still this very, very small edge, but this is also partly the conversion rate that favors Dortmund a bit, which rightly so maybe, but it's not really in match stats, right? I could show you, but I'm not gonna do that now. I'm just say the way I saw it and I think it, and also my data reveal that. But it was just more or less it was an even game. And if you say, oh, okay, there were 60 something percent possession Dortmund in the end, but okay, you can have in the non-danger area, there's a danger zone somewhere approaching 30 yards or 35 yards out away from goal, but maybe they didn't approach it so well. Anyway, it looked very, very good, and even if you would accept that small edge that Dortmund still had, it was for me and everyone that watched it, they have to say it's such a good, fine effort, and well deserved that they got some award for that. 1.18. That's very, very massive. So I'm very proud of that one. Of course, I gotta count this a good one. Did I miss some of the over under? That one is a bad one because 0.3. You can see that here. or the 3.22 goals are more than the ones expected, so I count it as a bad one. I don't look this one up. In Freiburg, it's minus, so this is also minus one because it was an over. In Leverkusen, gotta be a bad one. It's close enough. Oh, actually, that's 3.5 goals, and here we got 3.32, so it's a good one because the market was so exaggerating with these goals there. Um, that yeah was simply wrong. In that's 3.21, 2.89, so that's minus 0.32. So the under is a good one in Wolfsburg. Union Dortmund minus 0.25. It was also a good one, although we lost it. And the Werder Augsburg over. Yeah, I didn't talk about that one, but you would instantly see here that it was a good one. So we got another good one. So I'm very happy with that. Well, you need to win them first. So these two good ones were losers. That bad one was a winner. That neutral one was a winner. I would still say it was good, but I'm gonna count it neutral. And the good one was a winner. But as you see here, so now we can evaluate them. But we're gonna talk about it. Werder minus 0.25, 0.75. And this I have to count as a bad one, so I'm through with that, but we can still talk about that. Werder, that was a game. Well, these games you can watch, there's no other games at that same time. That's Saturday night, that's Sunday lunchtime, or yeah, a bit later, and that's Sunday night or late evening, or evening in the evening. In the evening. 6 o'clock, 1800 military time. Anyway, these games, these three, I do nothing but watch them. For the others, this I can't see at the moment, and these are in the conference. They are running at the same time. But here it was really such a bright and easy start for Werder Bremen, and you think they simply crushed them, and they score a goal. You think it's all going one way, right? You need a second. Okay, they didn't score a second. Instead, Augsburg scored a goal somewhere. You think, well, why would that happen? But anyway, I got the over, so no problem really. But Werder just looked strong, and they score another one, and it's 2-1. I don't know where. But it's got to be good because it's over and you don't worry at all at that time, right? Your side is winning, they are better. You got an over 2-1. What more could you hope for, right? And then even Augsburg lose a player, so it's sending off. And you at that point I even think, well, it's getting boring to watch it. I mean, it's fun to watch Werder play the way they play right now, but all Bundesliga games, you have to say, although the silly decisions and VAR interceptions and the acting and so on of the players when they try to waste time wasting and so on, you don't want to see that, and a couple of silly decisions all around. But usually the football itself is excellent, and also the tackling, the way they tackle and the injuries and this, I all can see that. But okay, that's a different story. Anyway, that was all Werder. 2-1 and 11 men against 10. So they are just outplaying them. It's an easy win. Now they may have had like 3-4 more easy, good opportunities before the break, but they wouldn't score. So it's 2-1 at halftime. You still think, well, why would I need to watch it? I mean, I can't lose anyway, because even if a 2-2 happens, it's still the over is a winner, and the other one maybe a loser. And also I do not like watching the games with 11 against 10 because I don't learn anything about football or about the teams. It's just it's useless. Still, I did get on with it, and then right after the break, suddenly Augsburg score a goal. Of course, from that moment they start to believe, and they didn't deserve it at that point. No, yeah, you can't argue about that. But from then on, they did believe, although Werder just continued their fine game, and they even scored a goal after 67, maybe somewhere around there. But anyway, it's 3-2, and you think still, well, it's I'm cruising to victory because it's also minus 0.75. You can't give away all these half units, right? It's just half a winner now. But I shouldn't have won it at all. So, or we, or what should I say? And but Augsburg from then on, after the 3-2 with the 10 players, you wouldn't believe this is this is magic. They were so good. They were so incredibly good. And you think, well, they did deserve the equalizer a lot more than Werder would have deserved the fourth. And so it was very, very unlikely development there, because you rarely ever see that. But it's just 10 men. They are, we would say in German, they grow upon their own. How do you say that in English? I don't know. They grow bigger. I don't know. Then they above themselves. They grow above themselves. But that's not a saying, But it's something like that. And but it was so impressive, and really you would have hoped for Augsburg to score the goal because they would have deserved it at that point. And you couldn't believe it. Werder just couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop them. It's so incredible. Sometimes happens. They should have been dead and buried a long time ago. But from then on, after 60, 70 minutes somewhere, they just 10 men. They were a lot better than the other 11. They couldn't believe it either, the spectators. No one believed its eyes, because they would say, well, they gotta be 11 and the others are 10. It's the other way around. Yeah, okay, so it was a bad one. Counted that already. The over was a good one, so it's fine. It happens, but some exciting football. Here I didn't do anything, and actually it was, well, I watched the game and I thought, well, that's really, really good what Düsseldorf did. And of course, you got that Thursday game when they beat Strasbourg and so on. And that's again happening to Frankfurt. And also the discussion about Rebic and so on, that you wants to leave or did he leave now? I don't know. I don't hardly, I don't like to listen to all that rubbish with the players' traits and so on. But anyway, that's the way things go these days. But it's also the supporters, they gotta take it. They don't need to. I mean, they could just say, okay, anyway, Düsseldorf would have deserved better. It was a very late winner, 86th minute. And it was still, if any winner, you could see here, it should be Frankfurt. But I would have hoped for Düsseldorf, and they just impressed me. And so it was a bit unlucky for them. So anyway, we got plus 2 points. I entered it, all the prices, -1 if losing. +1, +0.5, and so on. So that's plus 2 points. So I'm of course very pleased with that. And now we're gonna have a look at the second Bundesliga and do it the same style, but of course not in that much detail. Heidenheim was no good, and Nürnberg just improved, and I showed it in the last game. I said it in the preview. And Heidenheim never got their game going that I expected or hoped for, and they didn't. Just can't do it. So 0.8, that's a bad one. Still half a winner, because they once again came back from 2 goals behind. Third, once again, they really impressed me. I mean, here, okay, stats would still say not a good one. Okay, but Bielefeld, I said that beforehand, that I like Bielefeld, so it's not really a pick. But still, I liked Fürth a lot, so this is confusing me a bit. Okay, we could talk about Sandhausen-Darmstadt. Here, once again, I said there was nothing but Sandhausen, if you want an indication, because we had to go against Darmstadt, as I saw. They were lower half side and still red. But this time they just played well, so it was a bit similar, wasn't it? 10 men Darmstadt later on, or yeah, it was just Darmstadt would have deserved the equalizer. You see that here, a minus 0.32, so it was pretty lucky for Sandhausen. Here I felt it was okay that what Fürth did, and it was just stats surprised me a bit. I like their play. It's 0.34. I have to counter a bad one. It was a winner, so I'm fine with that. Wien, that of course we have to. Or we talk about Dresden, St. Pauli. I would have fancied very much Dresden. It was not a bad. But still, as I said, but St. Pauli were not the side to go against, so I'm happy not to have done that. But here you see that simply this time St. Pauli were the one impressing. So it's really a tough league, but yeah, in general, well, 1 week like this and the other week they go like that. Ich kann jetzt nicht. Dresden, Wien, so it was a terrible one. I mean, I was arguing about Dresden, Wien already, and said, okay, they started brightly this whole campaign. After 2 losses, they may change their approach. Some pressure from here or there, coach changing tactics, something like that. They didn't play well anymore, and he is still. But of course, a 0-5. I mean, it could go. They still had their chances, and they could at some point. And of course, somewhere they hung their heads. But of course, it was a bad one. I'm not arguing 0-5. You can't say anything. But at some point, of course, you need you need this one goal at least, and somewhere in there. And also, I was arguing against Regensburg, which in this case was just wrong. So in some sense, I'm a lot worse in this league than I was in the other one. When I think, well, here I got something, it goes the other way around. Here I found something. Hanover, it was similar to that, although it was just 0.1, so I can count this as a good one. It was also the impression, but if I count it neutral, right? Because that would be a bit worse for them. That would still be just 0.63 goals behind on that line. 0.75, 3-0 is too clearly against them, but it would be, good would not be right, and bad would also not quite be right. And I still felt it was okay, the bad, and this is signified here. But you can hardly argue if they just score the goals. What's going on, right? How can you stop that? And in Osnabrück, I would say I'm just happy with this one, because it's still there are 0.3, 0.29 goals better, and it was 0.25 line and so on, so I can count it a good one, although they were a bit less superior than I expected. But usually you should say it's just fine. I mean, it's a 3-0 win, they still have the stats somehow on their side, and so just, but I said that was just a bet on figure. I can hardly argue here any deeper anymore. Here I was really, I liked Aue a lot, and this was not just that they scored this one goal, this was the game to watch, right? And I said, okay, Kiel just were very green and very good and so on, but I said there's such a gap in the table, and market somehow supporting Kiel clearly too much, and now I said, well, and then Aue scored a goal, and they were really good. They were just good. They were like Augsburg a bit, or like later on, or like Darmstadt, which you can consider a surprise. But this is just this league. They are too balanced, all those teams, and then they had a penalty. The penalty was stopped, was kept out, but in the next moment they should have had the next penalty when the player stopped the ball like that once again, and the referee video assistant was called, and then he said, okay, you said like this, no, I'm not gonna give another penalty, they just had one 5 seconds ago, I'm not gonna give another one. Players can do whatever they like. He was stopping a cross right after the goalkeeper kept the penalty out. So he said, well, that's a bit too harsh. I'm not going to give a penalty. That's what he said. And they conceded the 1-1 when you thought, well, this is now all Kiel after 70 minutes, or somewhere after they missed the penalty, was Kiel to score. And then you think, well, okay, now it's all. Now they are crushing them. What happened instead? Aue were the ones who were much closer to scoring the winner. This was, those commentators, those Germans, they never notice anything like that, which makes football exciting, and then they just, what they do is get the very, very few viewers to sleep. So this is better than Baldrian when they talk. But it was very, 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 very extremely good what Aue did there. So did I count this already? Yeah, I did. And Stuttgart Bochum, you can just say, okay, I said that beforehand. If you want, heads off to both of them. Okay, very very good game of football. That was just, but how Bochum did get back, or actually late on they deserved that equalizer, right? They should have, but you can't say. I mean, Stuttgart was so good, and they, of course, they still had their chances, but Bochum came so close, and but, yeah, any result was possible. You just feel sorry for the loser because they just were good, and you see that here it was an open game, chances here, a slight edge even over expectancy to Bochum, and what can I say? I mean, it was just a joy to watch because it can be so good football and so exciting, but not with those German commentators, not with the silly rules the way they are being applied. Anyway, we had a good over in Sandhausen. If you saw that, all those chances Darmstadt had, first of all, right, 1.48. But it was just an over, so I can only count it a good one. If there's just one goal, mark it, okay, you had been right, but you will pay in the long run. I can't say that. I mean, I hope, I'm just looking at the next one. Okay, I count this a bad one. It's 5 goals. It was all, I mean, it's not far away, right? This is not miles off. This is under 3, low price. I don't care. Okay, this is minus half a unit. No. Sorry, here I'm counting good or bad. This HSV under is a good one. So this is minus 0.28. 2 point was just a good one. And this over has to be a good one. Yeah, it was a good one. So what have we got? I mean, this is the balance for the Bundesliga 2. It was rather, well, yeah, you see here some winners, some losers. It turns out to be a very small minus. The Bundesliga 1 was a solid plus. Of course, very obviously, we had this record before, also the plus 10 here. So I'm adding this to that. I mean, this was the record until or before weekend, and here was this much winning, making it plus 4, minus 0.2, plus 3.8 units, and this is really this is for the real prices market was paying. There may have even been better ones, right? And now we can do the quality, this plus the sum of all these from here down to here. I don't know yet what's going to, but it's plus 14. So we were okay. I mean, I was okay, or you liked it. It was okay. We got a very good quality. I can't, if I argue here, or not argue, I say, well, this league seems to be a bit difficult, then this one is going better. But of course, I can expect that to turn around, or it was still okay here. That's minus 3, minus 1. That's even plus 1 here on the total quality. So it's fine. I mean, just good bets. If you try to start to be professional or something like that, really this objective way to evaluate the quality, and of course this evaluation, it's by figures, prices, win or losses. But I can imagine plenty of people complaining about this game or this game, this late goal. Well, it wasn't really bad, but then they would forget, well, did you forget how lucky you had been here and there, and so on. So this is just trying to keep that, to get that straight. That's just, okay, thanks a lot. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye. Leave your likes, share it, comment on it, subscribe to my channel, please. Will you?